Hello there, welcome to the FM League Final, live on Twitch, available on YouTube. And as ever, I'm joined by Jakey K. I say as ever, Jakey. Welcome to the show. It's nice to have you with me. You are here because you didn't get to the final. I want you to know that.
Yeah, unfortunately not. It wasn't to be, but there's always next year.
There's always next year. So, it's funny. I should explain for people like we actually aren't in the same room. I know that, but you wouldn't know, would you? Let's face it. It's looking pretty good. Yeah. Good, don't do that. Right, so we must crack on. We've got our two finalists, Golden FM and Evolving Mick, and it's time to really put the pedal to the metal. Let's find out how both of them got to where they are, starting with Golden FM. So a 3-1 win against Rick put Paul well on his way in the league format.
That is not what you're meant to do, Schneiderlin. And we've won. We've won 3-1.
A 4-4 between Jake and Paul was the first draw of the tournament.
There was no highlights between the 75th and this. And Hazard struck an equaliser in the last minute. A dramatic end to the game.
I don't believe it. Oh, he's been beaten at his near post as well. That's such a disappointing goal to give away. Oh, late drama.
It was plain sailing with a 6-1 win against Work the Space.
Falcao scores again for his 4th goal of the game.
We've been spanked on the night.
Hi Jack, sorry about that.
It's fine, mate. It's fine.
He then took to Dr. Benji and inflicted a 5-2 defeat upon him. I'll never get over it.
Is that a tactical masterpiece from me, or I don't know? I mean,
I feel like looking back now, I should have taken you more seriously. And in the final weeks, put the hurt on second yellow card with a late winner.
Back to Hazard. Hits it. It's 3-2. Oh, you legend. Short corner worked a treat. And we need to shut up shop now.
We've lost by 3 goals to 2. We came into it a bit towards the end, but I don't think we ever really deserved to win that game.
So as you see there, Paul Holden remained unbeaten throughout the campaign, and now over to the powerhouse that is Evolving Mick. Let's find out how we got to today's final. In week 1, a 5-1 victory saw Mick set a trend for the tournament.
Cavani, Boney, off the bar, rebound, 5-1! Iron Robin! It's a pounding, people! It's a pounding!
Losing his only game of the tournament. Thank you very much, folks. It's been lovely meeting you. It's a demolition job. He's been stunned.
A very brave tactic, came out well, bamboozled us and took the win.
It didn't take long for him to take his revenge, though, with 9 goals against Rick.
Can we get a 9th? William! It's 9! It's 9-4!
He then followed that with 10 against Matt.
Can he cut it back? Little FIFA tramp. Ozil, it's 10! We've scored 10 goals! Yes!
What a woeful... Oh, it's Aguero. He's in here. He's got... Aguero, I think, has just got a hat.
Then a battle at the top saw a 3-0 win.
I don't know. It was quite convincing, yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a pounding, yeah.
It went well for me. It went well for me.
It did, congratulations.
So, gentlemen, the finals arrived. You've both made it after weeks of competition. We'll start with you, Paul. Into the final. How do you think the campaign went for you?
Well, it's obviously gone rather well now that I've reached the final. I was hoping I could reach the final, obviously, just like everyone. People probably expected me to reach the final because I had a very good team. Yeah. Arguably the best team. So I suppose I'm where I should be.
You had the most expensive team out of everybody. You had the most expensive team.
Yep. So I should really be here, shouldn't I?
And you had first pick.
Yep. So I've lived up to the expectation, and I've got to the final, and that's what was expected of me.
Well, good. Well done, and congratulations for being here. Mick, over to you, the second most expensive team. You didn't have first pick though. You were right down the pecking order. I remember you being quite upset about it at the time. But you're a powerhouse throughout the league campaign. Into the final now. How do you fancy your chances in this one?
I'm feeling confident. I mean, I've had a really good season. I feel like I played really good football. I've attacked. No regrets. I've come in, played the style. I think it's been entertaining to watch, and I've done well. I think I've been very happy with where I played. Had some really entertaining games. Hopefully, I can carry it on into the final. You know.
Well, interestingly, Mick, I've been doing some research into your game. You did play in the league season, and you came out on top. Yeah. But the only time you failed to have more possession than the opposition was against Paul.
It's interesting.
He still won 4-0.
Yeah, there is that. He does score a lot of goals. So, Paul, your main man today, who are you expecting to step up big time? Obviously, 2 legs, potentially a third game. Who are you expecting to make the difference if you were to come out on top?
Well, there's only one man, really, isn't it? And it's not Winston Reid this time. It is Lionel Messi. It has to be him. He has to step up. Yeah. He doesn't often perform in real life finals or in the big games. People sort of question him in the World Cup, for example. So this is his time to shine on the biggest stage of all, the FM League final.
Absolutely. Mick, you've got a bundle of players that you could choose from to be your standout. You've got assisters, you've got goal scorers, you've got it all. Who are you expecting to put the shift in?
Well, I think I've got to believe in Cavani, really. The way we play, I mean, I'm pretty sure we will create chances. It's been the story of my season, just where we can convert them, and hopefully that's going to come down to Cavani because he's our main man when it comes to that. So
yeah,
I would say Edison.
All right, well, you know, you've had a bevy to choose from. You've gone with the man Cavani. Looking at the game then, gentlemen, it's today, of all the days. Paul, we'll start with you for a prediction. I know, obviously, you're probably backing your boys, but is it going to be game over after game one? Is it going to go to a third? What are you thinking?
I mean, if Mick gets off to a good start like usual, it's hard to see a way back. He just gets...
Yeah.
He just destroys everyone in the first half generally, doesn't he? And it's going to be tough. If he gets 3 or 4 goals, I don't see how I'm going to get back into it. But you never know with Messi in your team. So we'll see. Hopefully I can take it to a third game.
Oh,
maybe.
That would be good.
We'll see.
Mick, over to you.
Yeah.
You've battered a few people. You only lost 1 game within the FM League. I've nodded my hat there. But then again, you did give me a royal beating in the semi-final. We did take a quick look at your league form. It's fair to say you dominated. You had more shots than anyone else. Are you expecting to overpower Paul with shots today? Score prediction?
I hope so. I think if I can curate over the 2 games like I have, and I bury a fair amount of chances, I think I can win. So,
all right, good.
I mean, I back myself, but we'll see. It's just going to come down to where we can take the chances, I guess.
All right, well, gentlemen, best of luck in the final. Hopefully I'll manage to speak to you both after the game.
Thank you very much.
So there are the 2 teams, and it's over to our pundit, Jakey Cave. So obviously you've played both of them, you know them well. How do you expect this to go down?
Well, unfortunately, I didn't beat either of them. I drew against Paul and got absolutely hammered by Mick. So, judging by the games that I played against them, I'm going to go for a Mick win for me. He was the stronger out of the 2 for me when I played them.
Now, obviously, this is over 2 legs. I'll put the rules to the game on now. It'll be over 2 legs. If there's away goals, they don't matter. It's just going to continue as it is, and you can see a few other little bits and pieces on there. So, Jakey, if it goes to that 3rd game. Obviously, it's going to be a matter of we'll talk about it if we ever get there. It's going to be exciting. You say Mick, but we can't rule Paul out.
No, definitely not. I mean, you look at the front 3 that he's got, especially Messi and Hazard. I think them 2 are probably 2 of the better players in the tournament.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a really entertaining 2 legs, I hope.
Yeah, well, let's bring up the teams. We'll look at Paul's first. As you can see there, David De Gea in goal, Gibbs, Reed, Vlaar, Klein, Schneiderlin, Sigurdsson, Vidal with that front 3, as you mentioned. Obviously, no Falcao. He's not starting Falcao, a bit surprising. But Hazard, Eriksen and Messi. It's going to be a team that we expect to do well.
Yeah, I would think so. It's a bit of a shock, as you say, dropping Falcao, replacing him with Eriksen, but obviously, who am I to question his tactics? Yeah. Hopefully it pays off for him.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, we've got another game coming up after this, as it's 2 legs. We'll see if he changes it around. Over to with Mick, though, and it's a formation that we're definitely familiar with.
All too familiar. I think everyone's felt the wrath of this at some point over the tournament. And yeah, he's done really well creating the tactic and getting it to work really well for him.
Yeah, well, the picture's fantastic. Did we give him a 1-0 lead based on the picture alone?
I mean, Paul's very photogenic himself, isn't he? So... Yeah. Well, maybe 1-1.
I didn't have to ask Paul for that picture. That was just available on the internet. Whereas Mick's taken some time with that one, so it's pretty special. Oh, look at that back line then. It's familiar. We know it well. Baines, Koscielny, Skirtle and Toby. Alderweireld. Too long a name. Toby. And we've seen it before. Lampard, Ozil, Robin and that front 3. We talk about the power of Paul's, but with Willian, Cavani and Boney. It's a force to be reckoned with.
It is, and you look at his front 3, but just behind as well, the midfield is, they've got a lot of goals in them. We've already seen this season, Robben, Ozil, and Lampard actually all chipping in with a lot of goals. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Paul can cope with that.
Absolutely. Well, that's enough from us. It's time to hear from our commentary team. Second yellow card on Work the Space.
Thanks for that glowing introduction there, Ben. I am, of course, Second Yellow Card, and I'm joined by Jack, Work the Space. Say hi, Jack.
Hello, everyone, and yeah, we've got a game on our hands here.
We do. It's I think the battle that everyone kind of wanted to see as of late, just because of Mick's dominating presence, so to speak.
Yeah, it's been quite ludicrous how well he did in the league, and of course carried on that form into the semi-final last time out, absolutely annihilating the Doctor.
Indeed, and obviously, it's well known, or it is about to be well known, that Mick's squad, of course, in terms of overall value, is over £100 million worth less than Paul's.
Yeah, it's
what do you
crazy,
make of that?
Isn't it? Because is it Mick's the second highest, most valuable squad too at 286 million, but Paul, £375 million squad.
It is a huge amount. I mean, the fact that Mick also didn't draft a single player within the top 10.
Yeah. No, I'm intrigued to see which way this one goes, and to see if Mick's system that, of course, he's persisted with throughout the FM League kind of can work again today, because, well, it's been wreckful. Wreckful, is that a word?
It is.
It is now.
Paul seems to have come up with a tactic, it certainly would appear so, to try and counteract that, but only time will tell whether that will actually happen. Baines now with a free kick, hitting the post there. Vlar will clear it for Mick. No, for Paul, apologies. So, nothing too drastic so far in the early stages. I'm assuming that Arsenal is Mick.
Yeah, of course, there is a known issue with the game, but there's a set piece here, and the Mick corner routine coming into effect.
And Willian nearly, I think that may have hit the woodwork as well. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think that stat is available for us at this time. Ericsson now bringing it away for Paul, and a great tackle there from Leighton Baines, bringing it away. Bombing down the left-hand side into Frank Lampard, up to Willian. Can he find a pass? Inside to Cavani, and it is cleared up to Messi. Messi now bringing it away. It's end-to-end action at the moment, and Messi's pass is just overhit there. 15 minutes played and still 0-0. What do you make of the first 15 minutes, Jack?
Well, Mick having a lot more of the play, a lot more shots going his way, and there's another chance here, and Willian buries it. Not from his first effort of the game, but it's been a terrific start for Mick. He'll be loving this. I think Paul is going to have to look to maybe change some things tactically.
Absolutely.
Of course, this game is over 2 legs, so this is, it's going to be intriguing to see how perhaps this battle of the tactics kind of develops and goes on throughout this game. I think you can expect to see a few changes, perhaps by either manager, but I think Paul, he's got a tough nut to crack in Mick's tactic here.
Indeed, and of course keeping out top scorer Edison Cavani is going to be the main issue, and obviously so far he's managed to do so, but alas letting Willian score, so it's not going to be an easy task. I mean, Cavani has 14 goals in this league. That being said though, Paul does happen to have possession of the second biggest scorer in this league, and Lionel Messi, who's kind of gone a little bit under the radar in scoring 11 goals.
Yeah, well, he did score a hat-trick in the semi-final, so he's come big once, and Boney here with a chance to come big for Mick. But another chance squandered there. Mick having a lot of chances. That's not the first clear-cut chance that's come his way, and I think Paul has got to change something here. He's had a few chances on the break. Mick's looked perhaps a little bit kind of lacking at the back as he throws men forward. I don't know if that's something that he's going to capitalise on, which is ridiculous that I've just called that.
Yes. As he switches
to it. This is 100% live, this match, but you can see here a few tactical changes there for Paul, switching to fluid. It's going to be interesting to see if that gets Messi a bit more into the game.
Mick, yet another one of his set pieces going in here, and it's Cavani, and it's headed over the crossbar. Now, of course, Paul has the best defensive record, interestingly, in the league, and is the only unbeaten manager left in this. So, wow. And out of nowhere, Eden Hazard makes it 1-1 here, and this could be a little bit interesting. Completely against the run of play so far. Mick has had 100% of this game, but it is 1-1.
Yeah, and Hazard with a goal there. He's got a few goals this tournament, and this is slowly developing into a battle of the corners. Perhaps Paul getting a little bit lucky there, but there's a chance here. Cavani in the box, and, well, you mentioned his goal-scoring Parao-esque before, and now he's shown it here in the final as he has grabbed a goal there. And, well, Mick goes 2-1 up here, and it's going to be interesting going into these kind of final moments of this first half to see, which way this is going to go, because right now it's even on the score sheet, but Paul perhaps under some pressure to make some changes and maybe look at changing his game plan somewhat.
And now we'll hand you back over to Ben and Jake in the studio for some halftime analysis.
Thank you, gentlemen. So at half-time, it's Evolving Mick 2, Golden FM 1. Jakey, we saw the power of Mick there. William with the first. Not really that surprising, is it?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, one thing that we have noticed throughout this first half is the power of the set piece. I think all 3 goals have come from set pieces, have they not?
Yeah, the third
in and
from
around
Mick,
set pieces.
Yeah, the third from Mick went backwards. Obviously, Paul had marked the edge of the box, which is good, because that's what I should have done in the semi-final and failed to do so. And so it's good to see Paul take that on. Obviously, it went all the way back, and then Cavani in the 6-yard box usually ends in a goal, doesn't it?
It does normally. I mean, his stats on this game are unbelievable, and I think that it's been proven throughout this tournament that he's going to put it away if it's in the box.
Yeah, well, we've seen there, Golden FM, only 2 shots in the whole game. Obviously, one of them went in. So what do you want to see from Paul? Second half, you've got to see him come out. Obviously, it goes to a second leg, but you don't want to get too far behind against Mick.
You don't know, and he decided to go counter as well, which we thought was a bit maybe, I don't know, a bold move maybe?
Well, either it's bold or safe, however we look at it. You think, okay, he's been a little bit more reserved, he's not trying to push on, but at the same time,
you don't want to invite too much pressure onto you against Mick.
You sit back against Mick and you're immediately in trouble, so you've got to find the balance. So what do you want to see from him? Do you want to see him go for it more in the second half?
I'd like to see him go for it. From a neutral point of view, to see an entertaining game, I'd love to see him go for it in the second half.
I agree. People in the chat, people in the comments, wherever you are watching this, what do you think then? Do you think it would be Paul or Mick to take game 1? Anyway, that's from me and Jake. Time to hand back over to our commentary team. Second yellow card and work the space.
Thanks, Ben, for that introduction, and we are now back, of course, for the second half. Now, something that's worth pointing out is that although I said in the first half that Paul has the best defensive record in this league with only 10 goals conceded prior to the knockout stages, it is not that much in it. Mick only conceded 13 goals in the group stages of this tournament, however, did also score 40 compared to 27 by Paul, and that is sort of the main deal here. Paul has been good at keeping them out at one end, but been slightly more blunt in attack, although admittedly Mick's stats have been slightly boosted by his wins over myself and Rick.
But as you can see here, Mick coming away with it, although potentially this counter-attack on Mick throwing a lot of men forward, and there certainly is some space to potentially exploit there. But Mick now in possession, Willian bearing down on goal, and what a goal that is.
That is a fantastic effort, straight through, almost as if the defence wasn't there. He cut through them like a hot knife through butter.
And Willian's not been necessarily one of Mick's kind of big names. You look at the players in his squad, I don't know, you've got Ozil, Cavani, Lampard, Boney. I guess Willian and Robin, you'd put them in there. But to get 2 in this final is, I don't want to say surprising, but Mick's got to be delighted with it.
Oh, he will be. I mean, one little thing, a little tidbit there about Willian is the fact that Willian is the only player so far, I believe, to have hit a 9.5 rating on 2 separate occasions. And maybe today could add to that.
It is also worth noting, because I've noticed that we have got a few players booked, that red cards do carry over between these matches in the final. So we should explain the format. I'm sure Ben has done it already, but there is a 2-legged tie here, and if it is all square after the 2 ties, it will go to a third deciding game that can go all the way to penalties. But we've got to commentate on the action here as Robin bearing down and goal. Willian very nearly in for the hat-trick there. He's on an 8.7 at the moment, but I do not expect that to stay the same. Also, an interesting stat is that Iron Robin is only one of 2 players that was actually picked out of the Bundesliga and also has 8 assists to his name. He's been vital for Mick as part of his system, out on that right-hand side, really being one of the men to plough forward on. I mean, I don't know where you see this going in the closing stages. It seems to be like Paul has got to change something, but at the moment he's got his back against the wall. It's so hard when you're chasing a game like this to, you know that you're 2 goals behind. You know you need to try and overturn that deficit, but at the same time, the way the game's going at the moment, he's got to be worried about, this going to a 3-goal margin, because you'd begin to wonder how he can possibly get back into that, despite the fact, obviously, there is this second leg. It would be huge. And, I mean, I kind of feel like at this point, Paul really needs to weather the storm. If he could get a great goal against the run of play, fantastic for him. But I'm worried.
I would be as well. I mean, him playing on that counter-attacking style may have initially worked and grabbed him that goal against the run of play, but that is still his only shot on target of the game, and if he wants to get back into this tie, he really does need to grab a goal, at least try to get this back to 3-2. I don't know if there's an away goals rule we're implying or not, but the more goals he can get here, the better, really. Hello, it's broken through to Cavani. He's gone round the goalkeeper, and it is now 4-1 to Mick. And Cavani and Willian have a brace apiece, and 4-1. Is this a mountain that Paul will be able to climb? Jack, your thoughts?
Well, I was about to comment on the fact Messi had a shot. There's some chances there, and as I say that, Eriksen on the attack, but Lampard dispossessing him, and, well, Paul's got the ball back here. Needs some Messi magic, potentially. I think that's a penalty. It's been given.
It is a penalty. Who will take the penalty? Stepping up for Paul's team to bring him at least slightly back into the game with 20 minutes to go as Mick makes some changes. It's Lionel Messi stepping up and, of course, scoring the penalty with aplomb.
And Paul has got to be relieved about that. You asked me, did I think he could get back into this? Did I think that this kind of lead that Mick had built was kind of, I guess, possible to turn around? Well, I probably would have said not, but his team have reacted well. They've got that goal. Can they get that kind of motivation and momentum as Walcott with the effort?
Very nearly bringing Paul back in. Something Paul has changed has made all the difference here. He is at least bombing forward, but that maybe Mick has decided to make changes to try and consolidate. Maybe he went slightly more defensive when he got himself into a 4-1 lead, but it does appear that Paul is starting to have some of the ascendancy here with a short corner and cleared away, but McCarthy will bring this back and he's run it out of place at the 17 minutes to go, and we are still locked in. If Paul could get himself another goal here, and at the moment he's actually looking slightly better. He's starting to get a little bit more possession, and Willian is through here. Will he have a shot? He will, but it is well saved by David De Gea.
So another thing worth mentioning is the fact that injuries don't carry between games, and Robin currently carrying a knock. Interesting to see him being stuck with us. Walcott has another chance. He's had a fair few this game. Maybe another one from this corner here. Eriksson been threading some vital passes here, and there is a chance, although Ozil breaks away with the play. Not known for his tackling, but a good one there. But as you said, Paul getting back into this game, getting a little bit more possession, getting forward, and he's got another chance here.
Walcott, long-range effort blocked by Lloris, and it will be cleared away by Alderweireld. He's having some shots now. It's a bit late, but I think he may be employing a shoot-on-sight tactic. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't quite paying attention when he changed his tactics up slightly there, but he certainly has come back into this game. But still, I mean, and there we have it, 4-2 to Mick in the end there. So that's going to set this up quite nicely for the second leg, really, if you look at it. I mean, Paul's going to need to win by at least 2 goals just to take it to a third game. And we'll just hand you back to Ben now and Jake in the studio for some more analysis before the next match.
So there it is, a 4-2 victory for Mick Jr. In the first game. Jakey, we wanted Paul to make an impact. It's been 2-1 in both halves. You were questioning that Falcao didn't come on, Walcott did. I know Paul had a bit more of the game in the second half, but not enough.
Yeah, and it was quite weird, actually, that he had more of the game, considering the defensive changes that he made. We both picked up on that watching the game. Maybe if Falcao was on instead of Walcott, in the positions that he found himself in, he might have finished them. We won't ever know, unfortunately. But yeah, he did come out and give it a go in the second half, which was nice to see. Yeah,
set piece is key for both, but it was the error by De Gea, the ever reliable De Gea. He's had the best defensive record in the league. We expect more from him. It's given Mick an easy goal, and against Mick, it's something you just cannot do.
You can't, no. And like you said, he's been so reliable this season. But there seems to be a few of them moments that have happened over this tournament. Unfortunately, it just happened in the wrong game for Paul today.
Yeah, it's about time Mick got lucky, I think. He goes on about luck all the time.
Being unlucky, yeah.
You know, there we go. He's got the luck he deserves. But yeah, I guess what we'll do now is we'll head over to a message from our sponsor, and we'll see you straight after this. So then, on to game 2. Mick's holding a 4-2 aggregate advantage. Keep that in mind, folks, going into game 2. If it's level after this game, we go to a third. But, Jakey, we look at the teams here. Mick is unchanged, hardly surprising. We'll look at that team first. Same again, you'd expect from Mick. You know, he's got a system, he likes to stick with it. Do you think he should make a change, or would you... the same as Mick, just keep it. If it's working, don't fix it.
If it's working, why change it? I mean, he's been absolutely dominant in the games that he's played. He had, more possession, double the shots. Yeah. Why change it? Yeah.
Expect another big game from Cavani?
Yeah, I would hope so anyway. I mean, he's done so well so far. I'm sure Mick will be hoping so. He's a fox in the box, as you like to call it.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be in and around the goals.
He will be. We expect so. But on the other side of it, as we can see there, Paul, if we bring his team up, made changes. At the back, he's brought in Vertonghen and Ivanovic for Winston Reid and Ron Vlaar. Moving further forward, he's dropped Eriksson back. He's taken Schneiderlin out. Changes to be made, and to be honest, it's what we wanted to see from Paul.
It is, and I think the front three that he's gone with this game is the front three that I would have wanted him to start with in the first game. It's good to see Falcao back in the side. Dropped Schneider in and brought in McCarthy, which is maybe a bit of a strange one, but, again, who am I to question his tactics?
It looks like he wants to play a ball-winning game in the middle. Playing Vidal, then he's giving it to creative players. He's giving it to McCarthy, he's giving it to Ericsson. I wouldn't consider Schneiderlin that creative. He's a bit more of a destroyer. So he's going for it. And as you say, he's brought on Falcao, he's put Messi out on the right. It's going to be interesting to see what can happen. In the chat, in the comments, let us know score predictions for this game as we hand back over to our commentary team. Second yellow card and work the space.
Thanks for that, Ben. We are now back. Looking forward to the second game, basically, and hopefully things have changed. Paul has made some changes to his lineup, that much you can definitely tell.
He's moved Messi out wide, Falcao starting. Also worth noting, he's dropped Vidal into that defensive midfielder position. That's not a position he's been normally occupying. Paul very often playing with the free centre mids, but clearly he's seen kind of Mick's playing the same way, and we've seen him make some early changes here. I'm intrigued to see how this offside trap is going to work. I kind of feel like that's perhaps playing a risky game, but he certainly looks like he's learned from that last game. He kind of, towards the end of the last game, he got back into the game, had a few more shots, and it looks like now he's, going to try and, I guess, capitalise on that.
Could well be, although you have to say that maybe he's, shut one window of opportunity for Mick, but he's in fact opened the garage, and Mick might well be, the horse is about to bolt. I'm using too many cliches now, but my point is that perhaps that offside trap against Mick's formation with the false nines might not actually be such a bad idea, because they're not the type to make those lung busting runs in behind. They're usually sort of attackers like a swarm.
Yeah. Interesting to see that he's dropped Schneiderlin, favouring Vidal in that more defensive role. He did play him slightly higher up before. McCarthy also coming into the side. And Ericsson being dropped to centre mid as well from that wide position. Clearly, Messi moving out wide, Ericsson dropping deeper, Falcao coming in. Paul clearly hoping that he can do something for him. But looking at the early stats here, you'd have to say it started much like the last game. Mick having a few more shots, and I don't know, it's kind of been a pattern of this game. Paul, he's got the players to do it, and, well, so has Boney. Boney having a real opportunity there.
Lampard now on the rebound. Oh, and Cavani are now into Willian, and a brilliant save there from De Gea. But again, it started much the same way as the previous game. Paul has managed to get himself a shot on the board this time, but it's not going to be enough. He needs to win this game by 2 clear goals minimum, just to even take this into a third match. And at the moment, I cannot see it happening. The only way I can see this happening at the moment is if Mick has some seriously bad luck at this exact moment, or Messi plays an absolute blinder and single-handedly drags them forward. It seems that Paul has sacrificed some of the creativity in his team to create a more solid base, and maybe that will work from a defensive standpoint, but will that sort of stunt him going forwards?
Well, it's worth noting that Messi, during the semi-final game against Work the Space, did score a hat-trick in the last 12 minutes, and, well, we're going to need some more of that Messi magic, you'd think there. Willian, not for the first time, getting on the score sheet here.
With his third goal of the tie already, making it 5-2 on aggregate, folks, and that is quite the mountain. I mean, he's going to need a Sherpa and a yak to get to the top of this.
And Willian, you mentioned about the fact he'd hit a 9.5 twice. I'm not sure if he hit it in that last game.
I believe in injury.
Who is that to?
Christian Eriksen. That is not good.
It's going to be interesting to see if Schneiderlin perhaps comes in as well. Wow, a set piece, an opening, Sigurdsson with the goal there.
Out of nowhere. Again, a lot of Paul's goals have come out of nowhere in this game and in the previous one, so, I guess we can't discount him. Mick has a lot of shots, but Messi now makes it out of nowhere again.
What a turnaround.
Oh, that is incredible. That was almost instant reply there from Paul, and it is now 2-1 on the night, and I believe that makes it 5-4 on aggregate. Very, very nicely poised at the moment. Still, you'd have to feel that Mick is in the ascendancy, but if he can't take his chances, this could go right down. At half-time now, it is 2-1 to Paul.
Thank you, boys. Now then, Jakey, can you believe it? He's finding a way back in. Even if his hand has been forced a little bit by the injury to Ericsson, he's found his way back in. But let's start with a goal. It was a fantastic ball from Boney, and Willian backstick prods home. What did you make of that one?
Yeah, I mean, slightly reversing the roles. Normally you'd find Willian providing the strikers, but this time Willian making the run from deep and Boney putting in a peach of a ball at the back post for him to just finish off.
At that point, Mick is 5-2 up on aggregate. You think, this is easy sailing for him, but then the injury to Ericsson and Gylfi Sigurdsson comes on for Paul. Practically his first touch of the ball. scores the free kick. Fantastic free kick. Just before we move on, though, the save. We've got to talk about the save from De Gea. Massive save. Game-keeping save. If that goes in, you probably call it there, don't you?
I think you do, yeah. And I think he's made up for his mistake that he made last game. Like you say, if that goes in, that's effectively game over. And he's kept his team in it by making a big save.
So let's talk about the game changer then. Sigurdsson comes on, scores the free kick. Fantastic free kick.
Amazing. The way he's got it up and over the wall from just outside the 18-yard box takes real skill and technique. And it's a fantastic free kick.
And then again, he's part of the next goal. Obviously, it goes through him to Falcao, is it? And then who knocks it back to Messi? He piles it in. My word, he's back in it.
Yeah, I mean it's a forced but inspired change by Paul. So there's not a lot that he could have done really, taking Eriksen off, but it's definitely the right choice to bring him on rather than Schneiderlin.
Absolutely. So we go in to the second half. At this point, Golden FM 2, Evolving Mick 1. Back into our commentary team. Second yellow card and work the space.
Thanks for that, Ben. And now we are back for the second half. Now, hopefully, it'll be just as entertaining as the first half. We have certainly not had our shortage of goals so far, but Paul is in not the ascendancy, but he is in control of this match in terms of the scoreline, and that is really what matters. But the thing is, he cannot rest on his laurels. He needs to get himself at least one more goal in this game just to move this forward. Can he do it, Jack?
Well, I think Paul would be the first to admit he was very fortunate in that first half, but Messi came good for him. Going to be looking for more of the same. He still needs one more goal. Messi, of course, the first world pick in the entire draft, and I don't know. I wonder at what point for Paul he really has to start chasing this game. Obviously, he only needs that one goal, but already we're in the 58th minute here, and he's still playing that one-up-top system, and I can't help but think there comes a time where perhaps he has to look to commit a few men forward, and it's at that point, is Mick going to capitalise, or is Hazard going to fluff chances like that? Because that is huge. Not had many chances, Paul. He's only had the one clear-cut chance, and I think that was it. Mick having more of the possession, and I'm worried, but I can see Paul getting back into this. His team have shown some terrific fights so far.
Indeed. I mean, so far it's 2-1 to Mick on clear-cut chances, and Mick has had many, many more shots. But what you would say is the ratio of shots on target is vastly in Paul's favour, which is actually surprising, as that doesn't actually play out over the course of the league. In the pre-knockout stages, Mick's average shots on target was 55% compared to 44% for Paul. Mick did, of course, have more shots, which of course meant that Paul had a lot less shots on target as well. But still, it's interesting to see that flipped on its head tonight. Paul also committed more fouls, but not by much. Today's game, you'd think that he'll be trying to avoid committing as many fouls, because Mick's set-piece play is usually insatiable.
Yeah, and I just want to draw your attention to the fact that Walcott has been brought on, a player who didn't do a lot in the group stages, averaged in a 7.0 rating, but scored a hat-trick in the quarter-final, and Messi moving into that striker position, although Mick with that chance there, but McCarthy tackles, and now Walcott, you're looking at him down the right to maybe make a run. Can Hazard pick him out? He can. And now can Thiago make an impact? What a run this has been, but unfortunately Koscielny, his Arsenal counterpart, standing firm in the box.
If anything, it feels to me like Paul is starting to get a little bit more of a grip on the attacking side of the game, and like his defensive duties are doing the trick. But now Robin is in, and I think he must be offside. Yes, 15 minutes to go. Paul needs a goal, and I don't think he's going to get it playing the way he is. He's going to have to make some changes, surely. And in fact, I think that's exactly what he's about to do around about now. I don't think Paul's made any substitutions other than Christian Eriksen, so he's obviously biding his time for these changes, which I think he's about to make now. So let's take a little look and see what he's going to be up to.
He took Falcao off Walcott, not to forget.
Yes, of course.
Here, I saw his cursor there go over Winston Reid. Is he the man to make an impact at this stage? You'd feel Benteke's the no-brainer, but I kind of feel like a change of shape might be in order here.
Possibly a Benteke, Messi up top together, maybe.
I mean, time's ticking away for Paul here.
Now would be the time to get Vidal out of that defensive midfield role and get him in a more creative capacity.
Well, Paul going a little bit more direct. It's worth noting, of course, Mick is playing this 4-3-3 system with 2 centre mids, 1 right mid and 3 strikers. I would love to see Paul maybe push Vidal up just a little bit, commit a few men in that midfield and then look to play more direct. It looks like he's going to stick with what he's got. A few minor changes and instructions there, but he is going to need Messi magic, as we already kind of alluded to there.
And he's going to need it fast, because he is he's very, very quickly running out of time. We have less than 10 minutes to go, and another tactical change being made by Paul. No, he's switching his tactics up entirely, He's trying to change to overload, I assume. He is going with overload. 7 minutes left here. He needs a goal. Can he find it?
And of course, a goal now would take us to a third and decisive game. Pressure on him, but Walcott with the flick on, but there's just no one making that run.
No. It's interesting to see Walcott's even being able to win headers, but the problem is Walcott shouldn't be winning the headers. Walcott should be making the run beyond the man winning the headers, and at the moment there is simply no one up there. This is where you need a Benteke, a target man, to win some of those long balls that Paul is now trying to punt forward. And maybe a break now. Hazard knocking it wild to Messi.
This is the chance.
Walcott at the back post. Messi with a strike.
Wow.
Out of nowhere.
Can you believe that? Mick must be fuming. He's been on top in this game, although you'd have to say in this second half, Paul having a lot more of the highlights in his favour.
He has, indeed.
Feels like he's worked it out.
It's been an absolute... I can't believe it. I've never seen Mick's team play this... I mean, he's played as well as probably he would usually, but the chances just haven't been taken.
Yeah, the 2-1 clear-cut chance, that's still there, but that's not the stat that matters. The goals is what matters.
And a late chance there.
Away.
And I think that will do it. There's 10 seconds left, and usually that means, and hello, Hazard could bring it away for Paul here. Can he win it here with a few seconds left? Messi taking it out wide, and Koscielny mops up. 3-1, and in the end, that means we are going to a third game, folks, so stay tuned.
Wow.
We will pass ourselves back to Ben and Jake in the studio for more analysis.
Thank you, gentlemen. My word. Hashtag scenes wherever you are. Messi's done it. He's taking it to game 3. Really Paul's done it. But, Messi has done it. What a strike, Jakey. We'll start with it. It's the only there's a few talking points. We'll start with the Robin offside. Obviously, Mick may well have celebrated. We assume he probably did. That would have sealed it. And Mick
that is game over if that goes in, no doubt about it. Scoring with only 15-20 minutes left, that's game over, and it's come back to bite him in the bum.
Yeah. Now we talk about the Messi goal, but leading up to that goal, Vidal on a booking makes the tackle, sends Messi away. He's been a rock in there. That the whole back line, I think they're almost all on yellow cards playing against Mick's attack. Mick's again had 30 shots. It's ridiculous. Paul's had 10 on target, 13 shots. And Messi, 86th minute, it wasn't the winner, but it's taken us to game 3, Jakey.
Yeah. In terms of importance, pressure, and what it's done to the tournament, for me, that's probably finish of the tournament. I think with that amount of pressure on him, what it's done is for Paul is absolutely massive. It's kept him in it to fight another day, to take him to the decider. I think it's unbelievable nerves from Messi. So for me, that's probably my finish of the tournament.
Yeah, to hit it from there across the keeper.
Unbelievable.
And he knows he's got to score. Messi knew that I've got to score to keep Paul in the game, to keep Paul in the suit, and he's done it. Which takes us to game 3, which we'll get to straight after this short message. So here it is, game 3, Jakey. We wanted it. I think everyone in the chat, in the comment section, you wanted this, and you've got it. Our commentary team have been going wild. They can't get enough of it, and it's time to look back at the teams then. So again, we'll start with Mick's team, Jakey. It's unchanged.
It is, again. He doesn't like changing it, does he?
It worked for him in the first half. He's thinking, I've been there, I've done it. After that second game, though, after losing 3-1, he's not lost a lot in this tournament, but when he has, it's always been 3-1, Mick? But yeah, he's stuck with the same team. We look at it, he's gone with Lampard, also Robin. The first time we can really question it, Jake, is it too attacking?
It's hard to say because in a lot of the games he's overpowered opponents. It's only like the second half of the last game that he didn't really have that many chances. So I guess we'll see, but it's worked for him so far. Although the second half, obviously Paul had to go for it in the last game. We'll see how it goes, I think.
Yeah, we wanted a big game from Cavani there to seal it. Didn't happen. Boney
didn't.
No. Williams' goal was great and everything, but you want more from it. I don't know. We'll look at
to be fair to Cavani, there wasn't that many chances given to him. You didn't really see him have any highlights in the box.
No,
so.
it was a very good defensive display. I think we'll agree with that. So looking at Paul's team, let's bring it up. As you can see there, keeping, it's not that dissimilar, but he has made a few changes. You can see there he's put Vertonghen at left centre back, switched it around with Ivanovic as his first change, and Sigurdsson, the man we talk about him. He changed the game in the first half of the second game. He's put him in the middle. Drop Falcao, JK.
He has, and he's put Ericsson back in the front three. So again, changing it up again. Will it work? Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. But Sigurdsson, for me, was probably his best player last game. He was the one that really turned the tie around. So it'll be interesting to see how he does after getting his start.
Absolutely, and we're expecting a big game from Messi, I'm sure. Once again, the nerves here are jangling. I'm sure the boys, the managers, they're feeling it at this point. The commentators, of course, are panicking, probably holding each other at this point. And let's hear from them. Back over to them. Second yellow card and work the space.
Thanks for that, Ben. We are back for the third game in this wonderful, wonderful thing. Now, it's quite finely poised. I'm very surprised that we even find ourselves in this third game. I don't know about you, Jack, but it does seem very much like Mick has been all over Paul, but Paul has managed to come up with the exact same number of goals, and that is all that really matters.
I was going to say, I don't think anyone had this going down this far. It's kind of our job as commentators to give you that false hope, the fact that there might be that messy time. And without doing kind of perhaps Paul any disservice, I had Mick down winning this. And Paul has done great here. He's found something that seems to just work against Mick's system. The big question now is, can it work for another game? Because Mick has been someone who hasn't kind of been figured out by anyone really in terms of his system, and it seems like Paul might have something going here.
I guess what you could say is that if Paul was capable of beating Mick in that last game, albeit with maybe the occasional slice of luck, what's to say he can't do it again?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, going into this game, you mentioned the goal scoring stats earlier, but I kind of feel like it's important to mention Mick with 40 goals scored for 13 against in the league, with Paul scoring 27 and only conceding 10. So I'm kind of surprised that we've had as many goals as we have.
It's almost like the sort of unstoppable force meets the immovable object, and at the moment it would appear as though the unstoppable force has been slightly neutered, but not to the extent that it's causing Paul to be in control of the match. He's sort of prevented Mick from scoring hat loads as it's just head over the bar there by De Gea. Now the corner for Mick. And Mick's obviously notoriously good from set pieces as Ozil whips this in. Willian, and it's cleared away in the end there, and Boney will manage to mop this up. Mick certainly get a lot of possession at the moment, but still 0-0 after 11 minutes here. Very much in the balance.
Just one little thing worth noting as Willian goes through again and almost breaks the deadlock is the fact that Paul is dropping everyone back on set pieces. He is very aware, it seems, of Mick's prowess from these set pieces. Mick in control of this game at the moment, but just something worth noting for is the fact Paul is leaving no one up.
Mm-hmm. It's almost a little bit dangerous in a sense, because it means that if he does then clear the set piece and it's somehow missed, I cannot believe he's not scored that. The danger of course, Paul bringing everyone back like that is that he may well be able to prevent the set piece, but if he does win the ball, he has nobody upfield in order to actually provide a pass. Boney, and as you can see there, Alderweireld is... I mean, almost everyone is in the attacking third. Boney across, and Cavani! It is 1-0 to Mick now, and that is... Well, as to be expected, I think, based on the stats of this game, it has gone just like the others, but that doesn't mean that Paul cannot come back into this. He's going to need to make changes. He's been the underdog in all 3 games so far, and has done incredibly well to get it to this point, without sounding patronising, of course. I, for one, have no right to talk about anyone doing that sort of thing against Mick.
And as you mentioned, you kind of mentioned the fact, perhaps on set pieces, there's a problem where if you're dropping everyone back, you can't get it away. There's no one to aim for. And we kind of saw a little bit of that there as the ball came back out to Mick's centre-backs. They were able to rebuild. There was no one applying any pressure, on the defenders. And it all came from that Cavani, granted at the second time of asking, getting the finishes. Another set piece and Baines.
What a beautiful
trademark Baines free kick.
That surely now is... too much of it. I mean, I think a third goal goes in, we can start to call this one for Mick, because as good as Paul has been at times, he has relied on trying to keep Mick out, and conceding 2 goals at this stage, like, he did well in the last game, but mainly because of going in front and managing to hang on to that lead. But at the moment, I say going in front, he actually came from behind, of course, in the last game, but that was a single goal. This is 2, and I think that could be a bridge too far. Sigurdsson into Hazard with the strike, and it is blocked and cleared away, but at least Paul is getting men further up the pitch now. His fullbacks are creating at least a little bit of space for him as Boney brings this away now to Iron Robin, and the swarm of Mick's players bringing it forward. Ozil out wide and it is cleared downfield. Now Messi bringing it forward. Apologies, guys. It's a very long stretch of highlight as Koscielny will clear this up to Boney, and another attack is going. This is going end to end, folks, and it is brought down in the midfield there.
And one thing that, of course, is worth remembering is the fact Paul did get 2 goals just before half-time of the last game. We're in the 39th minute here. It would be an ideal time to strike, although Willian going forward and not for the first time. He's hit it, and De Gea has been forced into a save. Looking at the stats, I'm worried for Paul. He's got to change something at half-time, you'd feel, because right now, Mick, the plough that is Mick's team has got going. There's some momentum behind it, and Paul's got to kind of stop it, you'd feel. But the longer this goes on, the longer that Paul's goal is just bombarded, the more momentum, and the harder you imagine it's going to be. Although if anyone's going to break the deadlock and break that momentum, it might be Messi. And wow,
that is, I don't know. Didn't look like a penalty to me. I have to say, it's hard to tell from up here in the commentary gantry, but it was very, very soft in my opinion. I mean, if you look at the shots in this first half as Messi steps up to take the penalty, and it is, I think, yes, it is 2-1. So Paul back in the game, but still, you'd have to say if these stats continue and you extrapolate out, Mick's on for over 40 shots in this game, and you can't see Paul stopping that. But you never know, do you?
Well, that goal's going to be a glimmer of hope, and I guess we're going to have to hear what the guys at half-time say, but there is an opening here for Paul to potentially get back into this one.
And we hand back to Ben.
So then at the break, it's 2-1 to Mick Mar Jr., and it's been all Mick Mar Jr., Jakey. We kind of expected it. Paul hasn't really got a grasp of the game, but that penalty might prove decisive.
Yeah, again, it's another big talking point that keeps him in it. He seems to have a knack of this, scoring at the right time to keep him in the game. So we'll see how it goes in the second half.
Yeah, we'll start with the first goal then. It was Edison Cavani, the guy we kind of expect to get the goals. 26 minutes in. Another great save from De Gea, but, you know, at some point, Mick will score, and it happened. There was a few chances we saw where De Gea was doing everything.
To be fair, it looked at one point that he wasn't going to get past De Gea. De Gea's been in absolutely inspiring form, and he can feel a bit unfortunate actually that he did let that goal in, because he did so well to save the first shot. Cavani just in the right place at the right time.
But tell you what though, that free kick from Baines, we talk about how good De Gea's been. The accuracy from Baines, he's that makes him the highest scoring defender with 4 in the tournament so far. It's an unstoppable free kick. We've seen a good one already. We've seen Sigurdsson's, but that might just beat it.
I think it does beat it. The fact that De Gea is stood on the side that it's gone and it's still not got anywhere near it proves how accurate it was. And it's a top draw finish from Baines.
Yeah, and at that point, again, we've seen it before. We've seen Mick sort of, I wouldn't want to say crumble, but Skirtle gives away a penalty and it gives Paul a lifeline. Obviously, Messi slots it home.
He does, and you'd expect him to. He's quite confident from the spot. We've seen him score a few this tournament from the spot. But, you know, maybe Skirtle could stay on his feet. No real need to go in there. He's probably going away from goal. So
yeah,
a bit of a silly one, but it's a lifeline again for Paul.
Well, Jakey, we're at that point. We're at half-time. I want a prediction from you, my man. I've not asked you the whole time. I'm leaving it till now. We've got 45, well, potentially more, 45 minutes to go. Who's your money with?
I think there's going to be goals. I think Mick's firepower to overthrow or overpower his opponents will come through. I'm going to go for 4-2 to Mick. 4-2
to Mick. Well, let's find out. Get your scenes in the chat. Get excited. We'll hand back over to our commentary team. It's Second Yellow Card with Weatherspace.
Thanks for that introduction, Ben. We are back for the second half of this game, and wow, it's I would say it's finely poised, but I've used that cliche too many times now, but in a way it kind of is. Paul has to make changes now, so this game is sure to open up in the second half, and I expect to see more goals. And Edison Cavani is injured for Mick, and that could be big. That is huge. Cavani, top scorer in the tournament now. I don't know how many goals he's got in this tie per se. I think it's either 2 or 3. I think it might be 2, but my goodness, if he has to make a change, the question is, who does Mick bring on?
Well, that is a big question. It's worth noting that Mick, throughout this competition, used the same starting 11 for the majority of the games. I believe he's used 12 or 13 players in the entire tournament, so he's not been forced into these changes. Cavani, second top performer in the group stage, second highest average rate, just behind Ozil.
Also worth noting,
who comes on?
Indeed, I think it's going to have to be someone like Schürrle or Enner Valencia.
Oh, I've just seen Santi Cazorla is warming up and he will come onto the pitch, so I'm wondering how this is going to work. I wonder if he might push Robin up front and play Cazorla out wide, but not easy for...
That was incredibly close. I mean, Mick has 5 players in his team that have not seen the light of day. That's Willy Caballero, Daryl Janmaat, Phil Jones, Andre Schürrle and, of course, Enner Valencia now. Cazorla has come on a few times for Mick as a substitute, and I guess he's placed his faith in him rather than going with a sort of more traditional striker-type player like Enner Valencia. So, certainly an interesting choice, but I guess maybe he feels that the sort of false nine strategy that he plays might benefit someone like Cazorla that's used to sort of running from deep rather than a sort of out-and-out striker. Jack, your thoughts?
Well, I think we might see Paul go for a similar change to before, and yes, we will. Walcott coming on, that's kind of been the go-to option, and to be fair, his pace that he's injected into that midfield pool with the Walcott kind of repeat sub has worked.
It almost makes sense, him bringing it. I was thinking to myself, why didn't he maybe start him from the beginning of this game? But I think now might even be a better time against some tired legs with a completely fresh Theo Walcott. Mick could, you just never know. He's not been the same in this second half. When you actually look at the number of shots, it has fallen away a little bit, as has the accuracy of those shots. Paul hasn't really gained much more, but Messi now with the ball, bringing it downfield. Messi coming inside, and Alderweireld clears into Walcott, and it's cleared away again. Messi through, off the post!
Wow.
Skirtle.
One thing that is worth noting as well about the Walcott kind of coming on that right hand side is the fact Mick does not play with a left midfielder. He plays with two centre mids and one right mid. There's a lot of pressure being put on Mick's left back, and I'm not entirely sure who it will be.
Do you think that maybe Paul has identified that as a weakness and is trying to use Walcott? And Klein is certainly no slouch as well, and Falcao is now coming on. Falcao and Messi up top. This should be an interesting change now. Falcao not known for his pace, but his finishing prowess. If Walcott can get him behind, cut that ball back, maybe Falcao for a tap-in. Who knows?
Well, this is the thing. Paul has not gone with two up front, but clearly with 10 minutes left, he's seen the last game, and he didn't make these changes last game, but he sees a way back into this, and I can see what he's going for. He's got to apply some pressure. Mick with a set piece here, it's not going to be easy.
It's dangerous. Mick set pieces, but maybe if Paul can get hold of some possession from this set piece, he can build from the back, but unfortunately, as it's cleared out to Baines, that is the last thing that Paul needed right now. However, if he could win the ball from Baines or someone like that in this sort of area like this, Walcott now with a terrible outball, and Lampard bricks it up here as Mick has a chance to counter. Ozil out wide to Cazorla. Cazorla coming across, but Sigurdsson clears as the ball is now brought down. But the thing is, Paul can't get a foothold. He now has, though, with Walcott as they flash forward over the top. Messi's through. Can Messi score? And it's well blocked and out. 8 minutes to go, folks. Can Paul find the equaliser that maybe... Does he deserve the equaliser? Well, if you look at the stats, he has had more clear-cut chances in this game. And if you want to use that as a sort of rule of thumb, then feel free. And you'd be right in doing so in this game. But I don't know. I'm not sure. We've literally got 6 minutes left.
Schürrle coming on for Willian too. Willian looked dangerous. Maybe that's just a case of rotating some legs as Robin's through. But De Gea, not for the first time, coming to the rescue. An unsung hero. We've not talked about him much during talking about Mick's attacking kind of, opportunities that he's had. But right there, we've seen one. And it's not for the first time that De Gea has got behind it and made a save. And now, can a break emerge? Worth knowing, Walcott on the far side there. Baines not picking him up. And can the ball come in? Messi cannot quite be a centre-back.
We are 3 minutes to go. If it's now or never for Paul, really. If he isn't on overload already, then he needs to be, because with this amount of time left, he's now, I think this is the situation of just throw everyone you can forward, because he needs to do something right now, and it's not looking good. Here we go. He's going for some wing backs, which is interesting, and the problem I suppose you might find is that they might even get in the way of his other wingers unless he
Well, Hazard's playing as an inside forward. It looks like Walcott is going to be pushed into that striker position. Can the doubling up on the centre backs, provide an issue? Can Klein and Gibbs provide something out wide late on here? Both very fast players, capable of getting forward. Hazard also dropping in behind.
I like this.
Paul needed to change something here. He's got 3 minutes. He'll know this. He knows he needs to throw men forward. He's going for 3 strikers and a shadow striker. He's going to pack that box, get the ball out wide. He's going route one. He's doing everything that he can do at this point. You don't have options at this point in this kind of competition. This is not somewhere where you can just sit and kind of, be happy with the 2-1. He has to change something. He knows that.
Exactly. And with those wing-backs, I do wonder if maybe, because he's got 3 up top, Mick's centre-backs are going to be completely focused, and it might just allow a little bit of space if he can get the ball out wide, particularly with the way that Mick's system is slightly asymmetric, and it might leave a huge gap. And here we go. Messi bringing the ball forward. He's got support now. Sigurdsson, there's a lot of space out wide to Messi. Messi with a strike, and it's through the legs.
He scores.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
I would say against the run of play, but I suppose it really is. But then again, now, question, what does he do? Because this is looking like extra time and immediately pulling both of them back. Now, is that the right idea? Is it a case of consolidate and get this to extra time and just see what you can do over the next half an hour? Or is it a case of, do I go for this in normal time? I think Paul might well be making the right decision.
I like what he's doing here. One of the big issues Paul's got is the fact that he's taken off his centre mids. I was a bit worried with the changes he made. He might be caught a little bit short. Now, unfortunately for him, Mick only playing with the 2 centre mids. But what he's done in doing the tactical changes he's done is he hasn't really planned ahead here. Because now he's got back into this game. His only 2 centre mids are Vidal and Sigurdsson. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on them in extra time to keep their legs going.
Okay then, Jakey. Thank you, boys. 90th minute. He scored. Messi's done it again, Jake.
2 games in a row. Who'd have thought it? But that is why he's one of the best players in the world.
We have seen Paul do everything he can to get back into it. He moved everyone forward. He brought Falcao on. We thought Falcao at 80 minutes, he's going a bit more attacking. Then he was just like, we'll just put everyone forward. We give up. We stop with this. Just put everyone up there, and he did.
He did, and even we saw Hazard as a shadow striker. I've not seen him in that position before. It paid off in the end.
Something we can't gloss over, and it was a big moment at the time. It kind of gets forgotten now. The Cavani injury.
As soon as that popped up, we both said, "Wow, what a turning point that could be."
Yeah, 54 minutes gone. Cavani off. He brought Cazorla on, who obviously isn't a straight swap. So, well then, we said it would go to a third game. It's gone to a third game. It's not just doing that. We're going to extra time. Could we go all the way, Jakey? You still back in Mick, or are you on the other side?
Who knows? I mean, Paul's got this thing of scoring big goals at important times. So if he carries on doing that, we could see a Paul win.
Very true. Right then, in the chat, who are you going for? Have you changed horses yet? Is it Mick? Is it Paul? Jakey doesn't know anymore. Nobody knows. I'm not making a decision. So it's time to hand back over, maybe for the final time, to our commentary team. Second yellow card. I want the space.
And right, this is tense now. I didn't expect this to get to 2-2. Paul has managed to pull 2 results like this out of the bag in consecutive games. So who knows? He's come from 2-0 down in this one, and it's not because it can't be for the want of trying. Mick surely would have been going for more goals in this just to try and pummel Paul into submission, but hey, who knows? But the question is, will Paul's tactic, now that he's had to revert to a slightly more conservative approach, Falcao through here to Walcott! He's onside!
No,
he's
he
not.
isn't.
Oh.
He's been given. There was a late flag there.
That was so close.
It's worth noting that Paul is stuck with Hazard in that attacking midfield role, and Mick doesn't have that defensive midfielder. We mentioned the 2 centre mids. There's a bit of a space emerging between the back line and the centre mids for Mick that clearly Paul wants to utilise.
Hazard is finding a lot of space and finding balls behind to Messi here. Messi through on goal. Messi with the strike, and it's blocked.
Oh, he's got to bury that. That is a real opportunity there. Not often in this stage of the game you go through like that. And it is worth noting that chance sees Paul go ahead on clear-cut chances. This game, he's had more than ever.
Oh, and Mick almost immediately evens it up on clear-cut chances. What I would say is that Paul is having some good opportunities now. When he's getting that ball with Hazard, he's finding some lovely little balls through to Messi and Falcao. Messi now running at the defence, but unfortunately is dispossessed as the ball is pumped long, but recycling possession. Paul is actually starting to get more of a foothold on this now. Walcott with the ball through for Hazard. Hazard is all kinds of players all over him, and Walcott is cleared away to Klein out wide. Can he find a pass into Walcott? Walcott with a strike. It's in.
Unbelievable.
Oh my God.
Well, he makes it 3-2. There's 15 minutes left here. Paul has got to be wondering, what can he do now? He's going to drop Messi and Walcott deeper, but they have made a difference today. Walcott, been a bit of a player who we've kind of highlighted as a potential kind of game changer, and he's changed the game there.
He has.
Well, now the emphasis is on Mick. What does Mick do? Mick not changing his system, seemingly, throughout the entire game, besides making the odd change here and there. Does he stick with it? Does he throw men forward?
I think he has to.
There's a pressure on him.
He has to be overloading right now, because obviously Paul is going to try and sit on this, and as would any of us. I just can't believe this game's turned around in such a fashion. 43 shots Mick has had in this game, albeit I imagine a few of them are long shots, but still, he has to come up with something here. Robin, and it's, at the moment, there's no real threat, but of course this is very early stages in the second half of extra time, so who knows what could happen. There is so little time left. I don't think that we can write Mick off, though. If he gets one little chance for a cutback or a good cross, there's a chance for him, or maybe a set piece.
As Dembele has it, the parting of the seas happens out. I don't know who that was in the back line for Paul, but they just wandered off to the side. A massive channel open, and Moussa Dembele, really the first time he's done that kind of run, and Well, I wonder for Paul at this point, does he regret trying to consolidate? Can you blame him for dropping the 2 wide men deeper? It seems like he's going to try and change things up now and throw a few men forward. But I mean, if you're Paul now, do you settle for the draw? Because I think the way the games are going, Mick isn't going to want to settle for the draw. There's 10 minutes left. There's loads of time.
Exactly, and for Mick, I mean, we've seen him score 3, sometimes even 4 goals in a 10-minute spell. Not that he will need any of that, but it's interesting to note that Dembele was the only player that had regularly started for Mick's team that was on an average rating of less than a 7. Now, the question is whether his performance tonight will be able to boost him up enough to get every single player above a 7. I don't know if that stat belies after the playoffs, but it is certainly hanging in the balance now. The question, I suppose, is whether Paul can risk still trying to go for this, or will he just settle for penalties?
Walcott. He scores! No way!
Unbelievable stuff. I have to say, if you look at the amount of shots on target, it is 18 to 13, which is not quite such a huge disparity.
Yeah, Mick, one of the trademarks of his team has been the sheer quantity of shots on goal throughout this leg and throughout the tournament. We mentioned the fact that Paul seemed to have perhaps worked Mick out, and going into the first half of this game, and at the end of it, I was worried. But Paul's refunked things again, and he seems to have come out with something through those kind of thoughts that's working for him, although we cannot write Mick off as Cazorla back post to Alderweireld, is that Robin?
Oh,
Schürrle.
Surely not. Wow.
Wow.
Unused up till this point, Andre Schürrle, I think that is his first goal of the entire tournament, and it is 9 minutes from the end of normal time. That is, what an introduction for Andre Schürrle. Quite mimicking to his actual career, especially with Germany.
At this point, I almost want to see penalties. I'm going to be honest. It's gone down to the wire. In some ways, I don't want it to go down to look at the draw, but this time, that we've seen a lot of highlights in this extra time. Although time slipping away, and it looks like it is going to be penalties that separates it.
Impressive. And we'll hand back to Ben and Paul and Jake in the studio now for some more analysis.
Jakey!
What's going on?
So, let's go through them then. We've had a few moments. Walcott in the 96th, offside. You know, didn't even count. That's an afterthought. That's gone, Jakey. Then Theo Walcott got it, 105, goal. Dembele equalised, 109, goal. Sigurdsson then scored, 110, goal.
Tell you what, I know you do it often, but there was a script for this final, and you might as well just ripped it up from
he's got rid of it.
He's gone.
He's done the patented Dr. Benji script throw. In fact, Jakey, I'll join you with a script throw.
Get rid of it.
Let's get rid of it. Schürrle on 111. It's 4-4. I've never honestly, I've never seen this happen before.
The game, they've just broken everything. Everything's just broken.
Predictions are out the window. Hashtag the amount of scenes in the chat. My word, I can't imagine it. So then, it all comes down to this. For what will be the final time, Jakey, we hand back over to our commentary team. Second yellow card. We're at the space. Let's see this out.
It's been emotional.
Thanks for that, guys. We are back for the penalty shootout. This is going to be quite something. I think this is just going to come down to who has the better goalkeeper, who has the better composure, who can keep their head in this sort of situation.
Who's your money on then? That's the question. I almost want to go with Paul just because De Gea's been fantastic for him, but it's down to luck, this.
I think that this might be one of those times when having the higher calibre of striker might just make all that difference in terms of composure in front of goal, and maybe for that reason, I think my money is going on Paul.
That's worth considering, of course. We did see Cavani, the leading man, go off. It looks like it is going to be Paul to open up the penalties, though. Messi stepping up for this one.
Ooh. I feel that Messi, if Messi doesn't score, you have problems, because this is sort of your joker card. You're going to score this one, hopefully. Messi steps up and it is 1-0 to Paul in the penalties. And I think the pressure is on. Scoring that first penalty gets a huge load off your mind. And Baines immediately equalises for Mick, so this is straight back into the balance.
Yeah, and now Sigurdsson stepping up. Already scored one, and he scores another. Worth noting that for Mick, Lloris in goal. We've not talked at all about him. Can he come big in the shootout? Well,
we'll find out in a second as Ozil makes it 2-2 in the shootout. Vidal now stepping up for Paul. Vidal's penalty. Oh, very, very close there from De Gea. Lloris, rather. Schürrle now with the penalty. Oh, Schürrle's been great. Penalty and a goal, as has Sigurdsson.
Eden Hazard stepping up, been a difference maker in this game, and he will remain a difference maker, making it 4-3 on penalties to Paul. No one missing yet, and now Robin. And we could be going to sudden death as we will go into these 5th and final penalties. Falcao for Paul.
Oh, the pressure is on now. If Mick misses this, Paul is the champion of the FM League. Who steps up? Santi Cazorla. Cazorla steps up, and it is we are going to sudden death. Question, Jack, for you. Will we see goalkeepers?
I would love to, as Winston Reid, of all people, steps up. Balls of steel, Winston. Can Boney mimic him? He can, of course he can. 6-6, no one missing.
Walcott now stepping up to take his penalty. Walcott, and again, we are up to 7. Not a single penalty missed so far in this shootout. What an incredible scene. It's Dembele now, scorer of the equaliser for Mick, slots it away for 7 apiece.
And I don't know how to react to this. This is incredible. As Ivanovic scores 2, who is going to be the first to crack? Could it be Koscielny? Steps up and it's saved. Unbelievable. Paul will go through and win the FM League. What a performance for him. I cannot quite believe what we've seen here. An immense turnaround by Paul. Not just once coming from 2 goals behind, but twice. And
incredible.
In this final, he's fought hard, and I can't believe Mick's lost as he has, but credit where credit's due. Ozil with man of the match, but just not enough. And
we'll hand back to Paul, to Ben and Jake in the studio for more analysis on that amazing match. Thanks for listening to our little chit chat. I'll see you guys soon. Say goodbye, Jack.
In a bit.
Thank you, gentlemen. But let's have a quick word with both managers. Let's hear from Paul and Mick. Gentlemen, what a final. It's been an emotional tournament, and for you, Mick, so close but yet so far.
I'm absolutely devastated, mate. There's no real way to sugarcoat it. I mean, it was emotionally draining 3 games. I gave everything I could, no excuses, you know. I can't blame my side. We created. It just wasn't. Some days it's just not your day, you know. Credit to Paul. I can't have any qualms. We gave it. We played in a style I believed in. It just didn't come off, you know. But
a worthy attempt, and you've been phenomenal throughout this tournament, Mick. You destroyed the league. Well, almost. You know, you did follow. Knockouts. You were a powerhouse. I kind of humbled again. And you were so close. There was numerous times in that final that you could have won it. You could have won it. I'll tell you what, De Gea has had the series of his life, you might say. How big, I guess the talking point for me, how big was the loss of Cavani in the final? 54 minutes gone, I think it was. Struck down by injury. Firstly, is he okay? Is he going to be okay for maybe a future FM League? And how did that feel when he went off?
I can report afterwards in the change room, we had a heart-to-heart. He was in tears, I was in tears. It all got a bit emotional, but I mean, it was a big blow, but that's what the squad's were for, you know. That's my bad if I didn't have the people to replace him, but that's no excuse. It just wasn't our day. Credit to Paul, like I said. We gave everything. I'm proud of, like you said, I'm proud of the way we played. Hopefully that entertained people. People enjoyed watching my games. We played in a certain style. But today was Paul's day, so yeah. We should go to Paul.
Well, Mick, thank you for taking part. We appreciated your involvement. You know, you've given us some thrills and spills. You've given Rick and Matt some horrible days, and I have had the worst match of my entire life. So thank you for that, Mick. You've left us all with memories.
I appreciate that.
And now on to the winner of the first ever FM League, Paul Golden Holden. The Puffins have done it.
We have. Up the Puffins. I can't believe it. It's one of the greatest achievements I've ever managed on Football Manager, to beat Mick from that position, and considering how much he's thrashed everyone, apart from me, Ben, of course.
Yeah.
We'll ignore the semi-final.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well, I can't. 4-2 down from that first leg. I just thought there was no way back in.
There was a moment in that leg, Paul. You were 5-2 down on aggregate. I don't know if you can remember it. You were 5-2 down on aggregate. And at that point, we thought it was done. And all of a sudden, you came back into it, and we couldn't believe it.
Nor could I. And Messi at the end of that second leg with that goal. It was what a goal.
Yeah.
What a goal.
Some great moments. Obviously, what are you going to do now you've won? What's your first initial plans?
Well, me and the Puffins are going out to celebrate.
Why are we not surprised? Well, gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure having you throughout the final, throughout the entire league, and I wish you luck next time round.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you.
So, gentlemen, I'm joined by the commentary team. Jakey's here with me as well. Boys, it's been quite the end to the FM League, that, hasn't it? What did you two make of it? Obviously, on commentary, what did you think?
End to end. At times, that game it was a breath taker. At times, I have to say, I felt many times in that game that Mick should have been out of sight, but Paul kept on hanging in there. And in the end, when it went to penalties, I felt that he might be the one to nick it, and it turned out that he did.
Yeah, Jack, thoughts?
I don't. I'm still in shock. It was crazy. I was almost expecting a blowout. The FM League seems to have been full of them, and then right when you need the tight game, goes right down to the wire. You've got to admire, as Matt alluded to, kind of Paul's fight back, but it was just crazy. So many times you thought it was going one way and it seemed to go another.
Yeah.
I think penalties, I don't want to say it's the fairest way to do things, but given how tight they were, I think you could have played another 10, 20 games and you could have been equally as tight. So it was an immense end to what's been a great event.
I'm not sure if Mick thinks it's fair.
I don't think he will.
I think Mick will be a bit annoyed. But yeah, what an ending to the FM League. It's been emotional, gentlemen, I have to say. About 8 weeks, ups and downs. But overall, I've enjoyed it, and I hope people have enjoyed watching it. So to the three of you, and to the other guys, obviously to Mick, Paul, Luke, and Rick for taking part. It's been a lot of fun, and I appreciate the fact you said yes. What feels like 3 years ago, but yeah, it's been good. And what a way to end it, boys! What a way to end it. Oh, right, we can all have a rest now. What have you got any plans after this?
Play Football Manager some more.
Play some more Football Manager.
We're having an awards ceremony.
Shall we do an extra for an award ceremony? Shall we do one more?
Yeah, do it.
At some point we will do then.
Do a round table.
So, so from my co-host,
it's fair.
from my co-host for the evening, Jakey Cave, from Work the Space, Jack and Matt. Thank you very much, boys, for commentating that. I'm sure people enjoyed it. And from me, Dr. Benji. Thank you very much for watching. Stay classy, stay humble. Take care. With love. Goodbye.
Good night.
Thanks, Jack.
Ben,
What?
can I be in the next one?
No.